Question 1, Part A. Use all digits 2, 3, 5, 8 to form the smallest multiple of 5. So, multiple of 5 usually has 5 or 0 at the last digit. So, multiples of 5 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So, from here, we want to get the smallest multiple. So, we know from the number 2, 3, 5, 8 is something, something, something. 5. So we are left with 2, 3, 5. Sorry, 2, 3, 8. So that means to get smallest number, we have to start with the smaller. In this case, is 2, 3, 8 too large. So the answer is 2, 3, 8, 5. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. Part B, use all the digits 2, 3, 5, 8 to form the greatest number between 3000 to 4000. So 3000 all the way to 4000. So that means we want the greatest number between them. So we start with 3, something, something, something. Then we go from largest digit to smallest, or largest number to smallest. Means this will be 385, 385, sorry, 3852. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, 3852. Question 2, Part A. The table shows taken by 4 boys to complete a race. Who was first in the race? I think it's pretty straightforward. First in the race is someone who has the lowest time, which means it will be Ming with 13.8. So the answer is Ming. So question 2, Part B. What was the average time taken by the 4 boys to complete the race? So average is basically getting the total divided by number of boys. So total will then be equal to 14.1 plus 15 plus 13.8 plus 13.9, and this will be equal to 56.8, and then number of boys is 4, so that means the average would then be 56.8 divided by 4, which in this case is equal to 14.2 seconds. Question number 3. Matthew has a rope which is 46 centimeters long. He cuts it into 3 pieces. The lengths of 3 pieces of ropes are shown. Find the value of u. So in this case, for u over here, so total rope is equal to 64. Total rope in units, right, or u in u would then be u plus 8 plus u plus 2u. This will be 4u plus 8. So 4u plus 8 is equal to 64. So if we minus 8 on both sides, that means 4u is equal to 56. 1u would then be equal to 56 divided by 4. This will be 14 centimeters. Okay, there you go. So the answer is 14 centimeters. Question 4. Shanti took a taxi from her home to her office. A taxi fare was based on the charges below. The taxi stopped once at a traffic light for 1 minute and traveled a total distance of 5.8 kilometers to reach Shanti's office. How much was her taxi fare? So the taxi stopped once at the traffic light for 1 minute. So we know every 45 or seconds or waiting will be 22 cents. So for 1 minute of waiting would then be 0.22 times 2, which is $0.44. Then travel total distance of 5.8 kilometers. So first kilometer is equal to $3.20. So number of additional 400 meters would then be equal to the remaining. So remaining over here would then be 5.8 minus 1. This will be 4.8 kilometers. So it's 4.8 divided by, so 400 meters. I'm going to change these kilometers to meters is equal to 4800. So 4800 meters divided by 400 meters, this will be 12. So that means additional cost will then be 12 times 0.22. This will then be equal to $2.64. So therefore total cost will then be 3.2 plus 2.64 plus the 0.44 earlier. And this will be $6.20. Question 5. A square is first divided into 2 equal halves. The top half is divided into 5 equal parts, while the bottom half is divided into 4 equal parts. The total area of the shaded parts is 165 centimeters square. What is the area of the square? So in this case, for the top half, okay, we have top half shaded fraction, which would then be equal to 3 out of 5, right? In this case, we have 1, 2, 3. So we just put here 3 out of 5. And then bottom half shaded fraction is 2 out of 4 or half. So since denominator for both fraction is 2 and 5, we can create a lowest common multiple of 2 and 5, which is equal to 10. So let's say half of a square area is equal to 10 units. So that means top half in terms of units would then be equal to 3 out of 5 times 10 units. This will be equal to 6 units. Then, so this top half shaded area. And then bottom half would then be half times 10 unit will be 5 units. So total area in terms of shaded area in terms of units would then be equal to 6 plus 5 equal to 11 units. And we know the total shaded area from the question is equal to 165 centimeters square. So that means 11 units is equal to 165 centimeters square. 1 unit would then be 165 divided by 11. Means is 15 the square. So total area of square is basically 2 times half of square area. So this is units that I'm calculating, which is equal to 2 times 15 units, 30 units. 30 units area, square area, which would then be equal to 30 times. So 1 unit is 15. So sorry, 2 times 10 units, not 15 units, so it's 20 units. So that means 20 units for the square area would then be equal to 300 centimeters square. There you go. So that's the answer. Question 6, part A. The figure is formed by 5 straight lines AC, AD, BD, BE, and CE. Find angle X. So to find angle X is part of what shape or triangle? So angle X is actually this triangle over here. So angle X would then be 180 minus 41 minus 51. This will be 88 because it's part of triangle CXA. Right, there you go. That's the answer. Right, so question 6 part B, find the angle Y. So angle Y, I'm going to put this as blue color over here. So how do you find angle Y? So angle Y, it's basically since this line and this line is a straight line, that means angle Y is basically this angle Y is equal to ECD, right? E angle EYD. Something like that. Okay, which is in blue, and this is vertically opposite angle. Okay, so this is Y. So how do you get Y? So what is Y part of? So Y is part of this triangle EX. YX or the green triangle. So that means we need to find YD is equal to 180 minus 31 minus one more angle that we need to look for, is this purple angle over here. So I'm going to call it as YXD. Angle YX. Okay, so angle YXD over here is actually part of a straight line as well. Angle YXD, the purple is basically equal to 180 minus X. So how to find angle X? We actually know it from the first part. So angle X over here is 180 minus 41 minus 51. 41 and 50. So that means angle YXD, that be 180 minus angle X, 180 minus 88 will be, then from here 92, we can then get this other angle, which is angle Y. So angle Y is equal to angle EYD, which is then equal to 180 minus YXD, and YXD is 92, oh, be 57, okay? So since angle Y is vertically opposite, that means 57. So angle Y here is 57 degrees. There you go. So that's the answer. Question 7. Lucy had an equal number of gold stars and silver stars. She gave 26 gold stars and 14 silver stars to Maggie. She gave the remaining stars to Nick. Nick was given 1 gold star for every 3 silver stars. How many stars did Lucy have all at first? Question 7. Lucy had an equal number of gold stars and silver stars. She gave 26 gold stars and 14 silver stars to Maggie. She gave the remaining stars to Nick. Nick was given 1 gold star for every 3 silver stars. How many stars did Lucy have at first? So at first, she had an equal number of gold stars and silver stars. Then she gave 26 gold stars and 14 silver stars to Maggie. That's why you see over here. And then after that, I think the last part is where it might be a bit confusing, but she gave the remaining stars to Nick. Nick was given 1 gold star for every 3 silver stars. So what this means is that this remaining part is 1 unit and this remaining part is 3 units. What you see over here. So can you guess what's the Next step, so the difference between these two over here will then be 2 units. So the difference is 2 units, and 26 minus 14 will be 12. In this case, 3 units minus 1 unit is equal to 26 minus 14. This will be 2 units equal to 12. So what was how many stars did Lucy have at first? I think it's pretty straightforward. So basically, gold is equal to 12. So we need to know 1 unit. 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. So that means gold is basically 6 plus 26 equal to 32. And silver basically are they 3 times 6 plus 14 is also 32. So that means total equal to 32 plus 32, which is 64. So there you go. So that's the answer, 64. Question 8, part A. On Friday, the ratio of number of adults to boys to girls visiting a zoo was 7 is to 6 is to 5. On Saturday, the number of adults visiting the zoo remained the same. However, the number of boys increased by 50% and the number of girls decreased by 40%. What was the ratio of number of adults to boys to girls visiting the zoo on a Saturday? So to visualize this a bit better, and right here, boys, adults, boys, girls. So at first they were 7 is to 6 is to 5. So what happened on Saturday? The number of boys increased by 50%, so plus percent, and the number of girls minus 40%. That is 8. So in this case, what will be the here? So boys at first is equal to 6 units. Then boys again increased by 60%. Would then be equal to 100. So 6 units plus bracket 100 plus 50 bracket percent, and this will be equal to 9 units. So next is we have girls. So girls at first is 5 units. Then from the question it says number of girls decreased by 40%. Means girls yen will then be equal to 5 units times, so minus 40, so times 100 minus 40, then will be 3 units. So therefore the answer to this is 7. Then boys will be 9 units and girls will be 3 units. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. So part B, on Friday, 627 boys and girls visited the zoo. What was the total number of visitors at the zoo on Saturday? So we know that for boys is equal to 6 units Friday, and girls Friday is 5 units. Boys, girls Friday then be equal to 6 plus 5 units is equal to 7. Where boys plus girls on Friday is also equal to 6 to 7. That means 11 units, 6 to 7. 1 unit will then be 6 to 7 divided by is equal to 50. So we know that the boys, girls, in the end, right? So boys in the end is 9 units. Girls in the end is 3 units. So since we know 1 unit total on Saturday in units can be equal to 7 adult plus boys plus girls. So adults, this case is 7 plus boys is 9 units plus girls is 3 units will be equal to 19 units. So 19 units basically total Saturday can be equal to 1957. This will be equal to 1083 visitors. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. Question 9, part A. ABCD is a rhombus. DFB and DECG are straight lines. Find angle ABD. So angle ABD. Angle ABD. This red angle over here. So since angle ABD is part of triangle ABD as well, is this one over here. And the thing is that ABD or triangle ABD basically half of rhombus ABCD. What you see? Yeah. And half rhombus is 2 equal isosceles triangle. Okay. So which means that this case over here, AB and AD equal. That means ABD cos. So for that, angle ABD will then be equal to 180 minus angle 106. Sorry, 106 divided by this will give us 37. There you go. So that's the answer, 37 degrees. So 9, part B, ABCD is a rhombus. So find GCB. So GCB, this part over here, okay, this red. So how do you find GCB? So GCB is on the straight line like this. So go GCB it is equal to 180 minus the other angle. Put this in green. DCB. DCB. So angle DCB is part of the rhombus ABD and D. So which means that angle DCB green is equal to angle D equal to 106. So these are opposite angle rhombus are the. So from there, we can actually get angle GCB, which is 180 minus angle DCB, essentially 180 minus 106, and this will give us 74. There you go. So that's the answer. So question 9, part C, find angle EFB. So FB is this red angle over here. So how do you find angle EFB? So AFB, we need to have two things. Since DB is a straight line, draw out the straight line over here. Then that's the first thing. Second thing is we need to figure out the other angle, which is this angle, EF. So angle EFB, red 180 minus angle DFE is in. So DFE over here, part of what? Oh, part of this triangle over here, DFE. What's here over here? So angle DFE to is basically 180 minus two angles. So one angle is blue over here and the other angle is a pink over here. So 180 minus, go FDE green and minus angle DEF which is in pink. So let's go and find angle DEF first. So angle DEF is basically equal to 180 and then it is part of a straight line. So I see over here. So 180 minus 54 and this will give us 126 degrees. Angle DEF is 126 degrees. Okay, very good. Now we just left with the other one. The other angle is this angle over here, F green. So the thing is that FDE is actually part of the triangle CDB, as what you see over here. And the thing is that CDB is actually half a rhombus, as what you see over here. And as a rhombus, since it's half, it creates two equal isosceles triangle, which means CDB over here is actually an isosceles triangle. And at the same time, since this is a rhombus, that means this over here is 106 degrees. Therefore, to find angle FDE, it's basically 180 minus 106 divided by 2, and this will be 37 degrees. So once we know these two angles over here, then the next part is we can find the blue angle. So the blue angle, it's 180 minus the green angle 37 minus 126, and this will be equal to 17 degrees. And since we know the blue angle is 17 degrees, then we can find out the angle that we're looking for, which is EFB. So EFB is basically 180 minus the blue angle 17 degrees, and this will be equal to 163 degrees. So there you go. The answer is 163 degrees. Question 10, part A. Shop A and B sell files of 4 colors. The bar graph shows the number of files sold by each shop in January. The bar for the number of yellow files sold by shop A has not been shown. Half of files sold by shop A were yellow files. How many yellow files did shop A sell? So the clue is half of the files sold at shop A were yellow files. So half of shop yellow go to half of shop A total. So that means remaining files is blue plus green plus red equal to 1 minus half, which is half. So that means half is equal to blue plus green plus red. Half of shop files is blue plus green plus red. So since half of shop A files is yellow and half of shop A files is blue plus green plus red, so that means yellow is equal to blue plus green plus red. So let's calculate. Blue is 150, green is 175, and red is 25. And this will give us 350 files for yellow in shop A. There you go. So question 10, part B. Which color of files did shop A sell more than shop B? So this is yellow, half of shop A. So yellow for shop A, 350. So yellow of shop B, go to 75. That means yellow shop B is one of them. Then let's list out. Red shop A is 25. Red at shop B is 200. So shop A didn't sell more. Let's move on to the next color. Green shop A is 175 and green shop B 107 is a no as well. Last one is blue. Blue shop A 150 and then blue shop B is 125. Means blue as well. So the answer is blue and yellow. So question 10, part C. In February, shop B sold 105 more blue files than the number of blue files sold in January. What was the percentage increase in the number of blue files sold by shop B from January to February? So blue in shop B, this is 125. So in February, 105 more. 3 for February, 125 plus 105 according to the and this will be 230. So difference can be 305 will be 15. Yeah, I mean then we don't need this actually. So the difference is actually just 105. Okay, so then from there, percentage increase basically 0.5 divided by 125 times 100%. The answer is 84. There you go. The answer is 84%. Question 11, part A. The photocopying rates of two machines P and Q are shown. Both machines were used to make a copy of a set of notes which had been divided into part 1 and part 2. Machine P took 7 minutes to photocopy part 1 and machine Q took 8 minutes to photocopy part 2. How many pages were there altogether in the set of... So machine P took 7 minutes to photocopy part 1. So let's convert 7 minutes to seconds. In this case, is 7 times 60 seconds, then be equal to 400 seconds. The number of pages of part 1 will then be equal to 420 divided by 2. This will be 0 pages for part 1. Sorry, per second. So it's actually 420 times 2, which is 840. Right, so let's move on to the next part, which is part 2. 8 minutes to photocopy. So let's convert 8 minutes to seconds. So 8 minutes is 8 times 60, which is equal to 480 seconds. Since 5 seconds equal to 7 pages for the queue, then 1 second, then be 5 pages. Then 480 seconds, then be 7 divided by 5 times 480, which is 672. So for that, so this is equal to 672 plus 884, 840 I mean, which is equal to 1512 pages. Okay, there we go. Question 11, part B. Another copy of the same set of notes was made using machine Q only. How many minutes did machine Q take? So we know the total pages 1512. So machine Q, I call it printer Q lah. 1 second is 7. Okay, but let me reverse. So this is 7 pages is 5 seconds. So 1 page equal to 5 divided by 7 seconds. And then we have 1512 pages equal to 5 divided by 7 times 1512. And this is 1080 seconds. So we need to find it in minutes. So 1080 second is equal to 1080 by 60 equal to 18 minutes. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. 18 minutes. Question 12, part A. The figure is formed by two identical circles with centers at A and C. ABCD is a square, and the length of AB is 15 centimeters. Find the parameter of the unshaded part. So if you were to look for just one part of it, so you see A, gonna put here A so it's easier to see. So we have A and we have C over here. So we know that the side of the square ABCD over here is 15. So the thing is we need to find this blue part over here, the unshaded part. So if I were to just focus on just one part, you see that actually we have a quarter circle. So that means the parameter or shaded part basically 2 times quarter circle, because this is 1, and then if you were to see the other one, it is another quarter circle as what you see over here. So from there, if 2 quarter circle, that means it is just 1 semicircle, and the radius of semicircle in this case is 15 centimeters. Therefore, parameter of semicircle is 2 half times pi times 2 times pi times radius, which is basically put the pi value as well, 3.14, and the radius 15, then this will be equal to 47.1 centimeters. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, 41 centimeters. So question 12, part B, find the total area of the shaded part. So let's find out, let's break it up. So the shaded part over here, it's basically two of these 3/4 circle, as what you see over here, 3/4, right? And then we also need to, I'll just put and we also need these 2 arches over here. That's what you see over here. So these 2 arches like this. So this is the 2 shaded part. So how do we get these arches? So this arch is basically, this arch is 1 square minus 1/4 circle. All right, so let's put it into an equation. So shaded part is equal to 2 times 3/4 circle, and we want to get this arch plus 2 times. I call this green arc. Is it arc? No idea. These are green arch, green arc. To get a green arch, basically square minus quarter circle. Okay, let's get a 3/4 circle. So we know the 3/4 circle radius, in this case is 15. So 3/4 circle radius is 15 centimeters. So 3/4 circle area is basically 3 over 4 times pi times radius times radius. So 3/4 pi is 3.14 times radius is 15 times 15 and is equal to 529.875 centimeters square. And then we want to find the green arch. So the green arch over here, it's basically square minus 1/4 circle. So square essentially is the square that we have. This case is 15 times 15, 15 times 15, and this will be equal to 225. Then for the 1/4 circle, basically how we calculate a 3/4 circle by just now 1/4 instead, and it's 176.625. So now for the green arch is square minus 1/4 circle. So square is 225 minus 176.625, and this will be equal to 48.375. So now we can actually get the shaded part. So shaded part is basically 2 times the 3/4 circle, which in this case is this one, plus 2 times the green arc is this one. And this will be equal to 1156.5 centimeter square. So there you go. So that's the answer. Question 13, part A. Mr. Lim had blue pants and red pants for sale. He sold 270 blue pants. 25% of the pants sold were red. How many blue pants and red pants did Mr. Lim sell all together? So blue pants sold is 270 and blue pants sold in percentage will then be equal to 100 minus 25. This will be 75%. So that means 75% is equal to 270. So 100% equal to 270 divided by 75 times 100, and this will be 360 pence. So question 13, part B. He sold 40% of his pants, 30% left unsold or blue. How many red pants the Lim have at first? So to get the red pants at first, we need red pants sold and red pants unsold. So the thing is, we know the total number of red pants sold, which is 360. So we will know from the question, it says 25% of the pants were sold is red. So that means the red pants sold is 25% of the pants sold is 360, which is 90. Then he sold 40% of his pants, which means this 360 is actually 40%. So that means the unsold is 100 minus 40, which is 60%, which is the total unsold. And that will give us 540. And then 30% of the pants unsold were blue. So which means red pants unsold is 100% minus 30%, which is 70%. So red pants unsold is 70% times the total unsold, which is 540, which is 378. So now we know the red pants unsold and the red pants sold is basically 90 red pants sold minus plus red pants unsold 378, which is 460. Okay, so there you go. Question 14. Andy saved a total of $108 in coins in his coin box. 2/3 of all the coins saved were $1 coins. There were 3 times as many $1 coins as 50-cent coins. The remaining coins were 20-cent coins. How many coins did Andy save in his coin box? So according to the first, or I would say second statement, 2/3 of the coins saved were $1 coins. So that means $1 will then be equal to 2 $1 coins. Okay. And then total coins go to 3, so 2 units and this unit. So that means remaining, which is the 50-cent, 20-cent coins, is basically 3 minus 2, which is 1 unit. Okay, so the next one is there were 3 times as many $1 coins as 50-cent coins. So I will put this as a ratio actually, as what I've shown here. So in this case, $1 total and 50-cent and okay. So that means $1 is 2, total is 3, and 50 cents, 20 cents will just be 1. Pretty straightforward. I'll just put like this. There were 3 times as many $1 coins as 50-cent. So which means that $1 coin is to 50-cent coins is 3 is to 1. So since the $1 coins are the same, we get the same number from using lowest common multiple of 2 and 3. In this case is 6. So which means that for this, 2 times 3 is 6. And then we multiply 3 for this as well. Total 3, which is 9. Then for the dollars, this one will be times 2 is 6. So they are the same. 50-cent coins is times 2, which is 2. So how many coins did Andy save in his coin box? So once converted, dollars 1 coins 6, then convert them accordingly on table. So which means that dollars 1 is to 50 cents, is to 20 cents, and then to total. So dollars 1 is 6, 50 cents is 2, and then 20 cents is we don't know, but we know the total. And the total is 9 units. So which means 20 cents is 1 unit. So from here, one group would then be equal to 6 times dollars 1 plus 2 times 50 cent plus 1 times 20 cent. So this will be $6 plus dollars 1 plus $0.4 cents, which is $7. Sorry, 1 times 20 cents. So this will be $7.20. So number of groups then be equal to total. So this one group Q total divided by one group value. In this case is $108 divided by 7.2, and this will be 15 group. So from the question, how many coins did Andy save in his coin box? So one group number of coins equal to 6 plus 2 plus 1 according to the ratio will be 8, 9. Then total number of coins would then be 15 times 9, and this will be equal to 135. There you go. That's the answer, 135. Question 15, part A. Cassie hung some identical rings vertically as shown. The thickness of each ring was 1 centimeter. What was the distance from the top of the first ring to the bottom of the fourth ring? So if you were to visually just look at this, right? So you see that if I were to just have a circle. So we have the circle over here. So what is the diameter of the circle? Diameter of circle, it's basically 9 minus 1 minus 1, which is 7 centimeters. So for this part over here, this is 7 centimeters, and then this other part then be equal to 1 centimeter. Right, pretty straightforward. So from here we can just figure out how many are there in the fourth ring over here. So essentially we have the first one like this. This is 1 centimeter. Then we have the red color circle like this, which is 7 centimeter. Okay, and then we have the other one like this is 1 centimeter. So let me make this circle a bit more uniform. So 1 centimeter, yes. And then what happens after that? We still have the circle again. Okay, but this time there's no need for a circle because the circle overlap. So that means we just have another circle like this, and then this is 7 centimeters. So this actually continues, right? So another 7 centimeters like this, and then another 7 centimeters. Then lastly, we have 1 centimeter as such here. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth or distance of ring is essentially 1 plus 7 times 4 plus 1. So this will be 30 centimeters. Okay, there you go. So the answer is 30 centimeters. So for part B, the distance from the top of the first ring to the bottom of the last ring was 198 centimeters. How many rings did Cassie hang all together? So from what we've calculated earlier, we know that the distance is the fourth ring is equal to 1 plus 7 times 4 plus 1. Okay, so which means that essentially distance for any number of ring, okay, since we just change the number 4 to the number of rings and the rest of the numbers are the same. So that means distance of nth ring will be 7 times n plus 1, and we simplify it to 2 plus 7n. Okay, so in this case, n is the number of ring. So to get n, so if distance is 198, that means 198 is equal to 2, or 2 plus 7n is equal to 198. So we minus 2 on each side. So that means 7n is equal to 196. 1n is equal to 196 divided by 7. And this will become 28 rings. So the answer to this is 28. So to double check, we can just put in distance of 28th ring will then be 1 plus 7 times 28 plus 1. And this will be 198 centimeter, which means this is correct. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer, 198. Question 16, part A. In figure 1, PQRS is a rectangular piece of paper. After 6 identical triangles are cut out from the paper, the remaining paper is shown in figure 2. The area of the remaining paper is 279 centimeters square. What's the area of each triangle that was cut out? So to get the 6 triangles or cut out triangles area, we basically need figure 1 or rectangle QRS area minus figure shaded area. So rectangle PQRS area would then be equal to 25 times 15. This will give us 375 centimeters square. Then we know figure 2 shaded area. So 6 cutout triangles would then be equal to 375 minus 279. This will be 96 centimeters square. So one cutout triangle area would then be 96 divided by 6 to give us 16 centimeters square. There you go. So that's the answer, 16 centimeters. So question 16 part B. The perimeter of figure 2 is 54 centimeters longer than the perimeter of figure 1. What is the perimeter of each triangle? So the perimeter of the triangle that we're looking for is just these two sides over here. So they're pretty much identical. That's what you see over here. So we just want to find the one parameter of this one triangle over here. Okay. So the thing is that the perimeter of figure 2 is 54 centimeters longer than perimeter of figure 1. So essentially, let's find out parameter of figure 2. In this case is 15 plus 25 plus 15 plus 25. And this will give us 80 centimeters. So for figure 2 over here, we know that PQ is 25 and SR is 25. Sorry, this is figure 1, parameter of figure 1, not figure 2. So that means parameter of figure 2 is 54 centimeter longer. So 80 plus 54, this will be 134. So to get the 6 triangle parameter, basically 134 minus PQ minus SR, which is 134 minus 25 minus 25. Also, one more thing, the triangle parameter is without the base. 6 triangle parameter without the base. So this would then be equal to 84. So 84 divide one triangle parameter without the base would then be 84 divided by 6, and this will be equal to 14. So this is one triangle parameter. So what is the base? Since we know that this is equal 15, right? So 3 triangle base go to 15. So one triangle base is equal to 15 divided by 3. This will be 5. So total parameter of one triangle can be equal to 14 plus 5 be 19. So there you go. So the answer is 19. Question 17, part A. Mrs. Wu spent 1/6 of her money on a dress and 2 blouses. The dress cost 3 times as much as each blouse. Mrs. Wu spent 3/4 of her remaining money on a watch. She spent $220.50 more on the watch than on the dress. What fraction of Mrs. Wu's money was spent on each blouse? Okay, so for this, let's focus on this part. The dress cost 3 times as much as each blouse. So that means the dress will be 3 units and the blouse will be 1 unit. Then from the previous statement, she spent 1/6 of her money on a dress and 2 blouses. So 1/6 money is equal to 1 dress plus 2 blouses. Means 1 dress is 1 times 3 units plus 2 times 1 unit. That means in total 5 units. So 6 out of 6 money is the total. Will then be equal to 5 units will be 30 units. Okay. So so that means remaining is equal to 30 units as 5. This is 25 units. So in the next statement, she say Mrs. Wu spent 3/4 of the remaining money on a watch. So a watch is basically 3/4 of remaining. So 3/4 times remaining is 25 units, which in this case 18.75 units. Okay, we don't need to calculate the watch actually, because the question is asking what fraction of Mrs. Wu's money was spent on each blouse. Blouse fraction equal to blouse per total. So blouse is 1 and total is 30. So the answer is 1 over 30. So part B, how much did Mrs. Wu have at first? So first, we need to know how much is the watch, because we know that the watch minus the dress is 200. This case, so watch minus dress is equal to $220.50. Pretty straightforward. So we want to find the watch. So that means let's look at the statement. Mrs. Wu spent 3/4 of the remaining on the watch. So remaining, it's basically 30 units, which is the total that we have, minus how much do we spend? 1/6 of money, which is 5 units, okay? And this will then be 25 units. Then so the watch is equal to 3/4 of remaining, which means 3/4 times 25 units, and this will be 18.75. So from here, watch minus dress, earlier, watch minus dress 22050. So that means watch is 18.75 units minus the dress is 3 units, and this will be equal to $22050. So this will be 15.75 units equal to $220.50. So 1 unit would then be 22050 divided by 15.75, and this will be $14. So how much money did Mrs. Wu have first? So it's 30 units is the total. This 30 times 14, so $420. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer for question 17B. So that's about it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.